Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and in this video I'm doing a little bit of theory crafting, a little testing with the, or looking forward to the Gladius. I'm going to be using another ship as a test bed. I did a little hangar reorganization moving forward because there's a couple of ships that I'm going to be getting rid of before the PU goes live, and so I kind of wanted to have a ship that was holding on to my Arena Commander pass, my game package, and all that. And so that ship is now the Mustang Delta. What I did is I bought the Aurora MR Arena Commander starter package. I then upgraded that to the Mustang Alpha, and then from there I upgraded that to the Mustang Delta. Now there's other ships, of course, that you can get in between, and I'm not recommending this path. It's just I wanted to test out the Delta anyways. I mean, you can pick up a game package with the Avenger. You can pick up a game package with what's at the 300 for less. But this is just the way I did it. Now, the first weapons loadout that we're going to be using the Mustang to test is going to be this one, using all K&W repeaters. As you can see here on the Gladius in my hangar, I fitted all KW repeaters just to make sure that you can actually fit them at this point. And we're going to port these weapons over to the Gladius and test them out, or port them to the Gladius, port them to the Mustang, and test them out in the Vandal Swarm. So here we are, we're in the Vandal Swarm. Now, of course, the Mustang has one extra gun, but when you see the kind of damage that these weapons deal, I don't really think the extra gun made that much of a difference. As you're going to see, like these weapons, yeah, they get the job done, so I don't really think an extra gun really made too much of a difference there. I think, he got handled pretty darn quickly. Now, the sheer volume of fire that you get out of the repeaters is one of the things that I like, because even if you're not that accurate, as long as you're getting close with that sheer volume of fire, you're going to be hitting an awful lot. So even though the damage is reduced on these guns, that volume of fire I feel really makes up for it, and you're able to really just kind of get on target anyway. And as long as you're reasonably close and crossing over your target, you're still going to get in a lot of damaging hits, and yeah. They do tend to get the job done. So the weapons here are two Bulldog repeaters and two Badger repeaters, size 1 and size 2. And as you can see, that sheer volume of fire, yeah, it doesn't really force you to be all that accurate. And having not played AC for 2 weeks, this was kind of, it was one of the things I was worried about. Is I knew I was my gun hand was just going to be wandering around all over the place and trying to find the spot and trying to get these guys down, but just that sheer volume of fire seemed to make up for that. So I was thinking, oh well, this is actually a pretty decent setup. And since these are also the weapons that are, or at least two of these are weapons that are also included in the Ghost and considered to be low emission weapons, I thought, oh well, there could be added side benefits to using these weapons. Now, of course, the Mustang Delta isn't as nimble as the Gladius looks like it's going to be, and nor is it as fast. So, I mean, this is all just, just an approximation. I mean, this is all just more or less idle testing and just some random chat about different weapon setups and the two weapon setups that I like the most. And I was actually really enjoying these weapons. Now, these weapons, if you already have a Hornet, these weapons would already be in your hangar, at least the size 2. And I believe the Bulldog repeaters, if you don't have them, I think you can pick at least one of them up for 8,000 UEC in the the Voyager Direct part of the pledge store. So if you were around to get that extra 10,000 UEC for being a backer, I think it was back in November we got it for one of the hitting one of the funding goals. You can already pick up one of these pretty much for free. And these guns already would come with the Gladius, so you wouldn't really have to worry about it in that case, because you would already have the guns once the Gladius comes out. And if you already have a Hornet, then you would already have the size 2, which I think retails for about 12,000 UEC in the Voyager Direct store at this point. So here we are. We're just playing around with it, just enjoying it, and seeing what we can do, and of course testing out the Mustang Delta a little bit. So if this is a ship that you're looking to pick up, you can take away from this. Here's how the Mustang Delta performs with less or with without the basic setup that it comes with when you purchase the package. Now here we are, we're going to be testing our second weapon loadout, which is the Omniski 6s and Omniski 3s. Now this setup I initially was quite leery about because of course these are a much lower volume of fire but a higher damage output gun. So I wasn't too sure how these would work out because I figured, with these guns I'm probably just going to be missing all over the place, and there's not going to be like that volume of fire isn't going to fill in the gaps in between when I'm moving over enemy targets, so it'll be a lot harder to hit. And so I was a little bit worried about how these weapons were going to work out. So I wasn't too sure what the performance was going to be like, but yeah, performance was excellent, and this ended up being a very strong setup. And as you can see, I'm able to deal with these guys, and I'm not having to deal with the overheat issue that you would normally have with an Omniski if you're missing a lot. As you can see, the guns are overheating a little bit, but it's more like the K&Ws. It never gets to that point where it's critical. Or at least, for me, very rarely. It was later on, as I was playing through this, beyond where the video ends, where I started to run into the overheat issue, but it really never got to the point where it was actually hampering my gameplay and I was sitting there with clear shots but not able to take them. So I have a feeling that the Omniskis are, so far from what I've seen, they are going to be the stronger setup just because they are just so devastating. And when you add on to it the fact that with the Gladius, once I can test it, the dumbfire missiles with the proximity warhead, this ship could be quite insane. The Delta itself, I'm not even testing the dumbfire rockets in these videos that are on the ship. The dumbfire rockets can easily one-shot most of these Vandal ships. And of course, they're a little bit harder to hit with, as most dumbfire missiles are, and we're using them against fighters. We're not using them against larger ships, which is what I proposed in one of my earlier Gladius videos when I was talking, just idly theory crafting what the Gladius could be. And at that point, with the current ship setups, you were going to be able to fit 8 of those onto a Gladius, and the rockets being as devastating as they are, the proximity missiles must be much more devastating, and the fact that they actually do have a proximity warhead. Oh, nice flying there, Ace. The fact that they actually do have a proximity warhead just kind of reinforces the fact that I think that once we're able to test it and see it, I really do think that along with these Omniskis is going to be pretty devastating. And so for a lot of those larger multi-crew ships like Constellations and Freelancers, if you can get in close enough to them, you're probably going to be able to level a pretty decisive beating onto those ships pretty damn quickly. And I know those ships kind of hold a lot of popularity with a certain portion of the community, but I really think that in the end, fighters, for PvP combat, fighters are going to be the way to go. Fighters and bombers. With a multi-crew ship, I see too many issues. I see too many complications. Whereas with the fighters, it's cheap, it's easy. Or I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's definitely cheaper. And as you can see, it's pretty damn devastating. Once we get these multi-crew ships in and we can test out their resilience, I don't really think the resilience is going to be so great that it's going to totally blow fighters out of the water, as a lot of people kind of are hoping or believing that it will. And I really think that fighters are going to be the devastating ships moving forward. And with these weapon setups, these light, nimble attackers are going to really define the game. And I think a lot of people who are moving into these big ships are probably not too probably not being too realistic on how this game is going to play out in the future. And I really think that ships like the Gladius, ships like the Gladiator bomber, ships like the Hornet, ships like the Xeon Scout, and the upcoming Deep Space Fighter are really going to be the ships that kind of define the game. And it's these bigger ships are just going to be more or less kind of side players out in the background, and not really going to be the main focus ships that some people believe they're going to be. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and just some look at the Mustang Delta and various setups that if you do have a Delta, or if you were thinking about picking up a Delta, various setups that you might want to try, and some of the weapons that are available in the Voyager Direct store. And if anything else, I hope you found the video informative and enjoyed watching it, and please come check out my videos again. Thanks for watching.